Hey guys, welcome to Make Money Count. We're back for another episode. Today we're going to be talking about the GST forgiveness or whatever it's called, and the fact that everyone's going to get a $250 check very soon, and what that means for Trudeau. It means nothing for Trudeau.
So listen, when you saw that,
Right?
what did you think?
I thought that it was like grabbing onto the little piece of wood when you're about to drown in the Titanic, right? Like you're just like grabbing onto something so that the Canadian voter will maybe like you again.
Yeah.
They'll think about the $250 check they got when they go to vote.
So like the weirdest thing right off the bat is like we've got an inflation issue that the Bank of Canada targeted. And we're hoping for another 50 basis points in December.
Right.
Of a reduction from the Bank of Canada.
Right.
The only thing that could screw that up is if you enact some inflationary policy like, I don't know, something stupid like giving every Canadian a check for $250. Okay. Check mark that one. Okay.
Yeah. Doing the exact same thing that got us into this issue in the first place.
Or artificially reducing pricing by giving a tax hiatus or tax vacation on the GST.
Taxcation.
Yeah, or the HST.
Yeah.
Like, these are the only two real tools that a real tool could employ to screw things up for the Bank of Canada.
Yeah.
And by the way, I think the economy is in such bad shape that I don't think it's going to even impact it. I think we're still going to get 50 basis points as a reduction on the rates. But I do think it's really dumb.
Yeah.
And I think that most importantly is that between these two, I wrote it down, it is $6.2 billion.
I was just going to say, if I was $40 billion in debt, that's about what we are right now.
No, it's higher. It's
Right.
40.
We're supposed to be at 40 billion.
Yeah, but
40 billion is a good thing.
But it hasn't been confirmed yet.
Right.
But the parliamentary budget officer anticipates it's closer to 47 billion.
Right.
And remember, 40 was the guardrail
Yeah.
that was imposed.
Yeah.
That was the Chrystia Freeland, we're never going to exceed this.
Right.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
Well, we're like 20% over that.
And we're about to just like.
And we're going to add another 6 billion to it. So
It is crazy. It's, yeah.
we clearly don't care.
Right.
Okay. Clearly we think like if I am like an advisor to the current Prime Minister of Canada, I am probably saying Canadians are stupid. We can do whatever we want. This is going to help us get elected for sure. This is the behavior of someone who believes they will get elected with this type of tomfoolery nonsense economic gamesmanship. You know what else it is?
What? Dangerous.
I would say, yeah, it's another illustration of how the federal government is obfuscating what's actually going on and playing with the numbers on their own.
Right.
Like immigration. Listen, we weren't going to get as much immigration in Canada because our economy sucks and people were already leaving en masse.
Right.
They were coming in and then they were leaving.
Yeah. It's like going to a restaurant where there's no one sitting and you're just like, I don't want to eat here. I'm out of here.
Right. To compare it to what they did with immigration, it's like a restaurant where nobody wanted to go and eat at anymore that said, we're only doing takeout now.
Yeah.
Like they noticed they were projecting a trend of no more in-house dining. They were like, geez, we've been inviting all these people to come and dine here at the restaurant. By the way, if it was a real true comparison, the restaurant's free.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
The restaurant's free and nobody wants to come and eat there anymore.
Because it's so bad.
Yeah. So the restaurant owner, Trudeau, sees this coming and says, you know what we're going to do? Takeout only. To protect our country, we are going to reduce the number of immigrants that can stay here, that can come here. Guess what? They were already reducing themselves.
Right.
But it disguises the fact that this isn't a mistake that they've made. And before that, what they did? They saw that the economy was going to do nothing and was doing nothing. So first thing they did was they hired more federal government workers.
Right.
You know what that does?
Yeah.
Reduces the unemployment rate, increases spending. We're talking about a lot of government workers, right?
Yeah.
What is the stat now? Like 25% of all the people that work in Canada work for the government?
That's crazy.
Okay. That's, guess what? That's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 25. Let's see if we can find any more 25s. 25% tariff coming soon. 25% government workers. Maybe we'll hit 25% unemployment soon.
Right.
We definitely need more than a 25 basis point rate cut. We need about 10 of those 25 basis point rate cuts to even get to a level of somewhat normal for our economy.
Right.
But what did he do? He hired a whole bunch of federal employees, which made the economy look like it was doing well. We've had backward revisions of GDP numbers from StatsCan, and all of those from previous years are leading. They were misled, but it looks like they were revised higher because of federal spending, government spending. So we were kind of disguising that government spending, and it was propping up our economy more than we even anticipated. Okay, so that was one. Mm-hmm. Then after that was the masking of an economy by bringing in immigrants.
Yeah, yeah.
Propping it up and making it look like, wow, this thing is just a monster thriving. Mm-hmm. But then cracks started to form because we started talking about productivity, because we were saying, oh, geez, look at all these people we have and our GDP hasn't changed. So maybe this isn't a very healthy thing for us. So then we noticed that people were leaving. We were like, oh, no, they're not leaving. We told them they have to leave. And now for the fourth chapter in this children's book that clearly ends in a fucking disaster, no HST, no whatever you call it, GST, $250 helicopter money for everybody. Who cares what the Bank of Canada thinks about it? Let's try to get reelected because we're the Liberals.
Right.
Good luck. Good luck on getting reelected, Liberals. I think everyone's going to see through this shit. And I think if you're as infuriated as we are, I totally get it. If you're thinking, geez, I'm not going to have to pay HST on video games and snacks
the video game console
restaurant, like, man, is there not something better we could have spent $6 billion on? Like, I'll tell you, it's going to come down to a few things here, right? We have to spend, like, a government is going to have to spend some money in order to get us out of the situation that we're in. It's going to have to happen in a few different ways, right? It's going to have to happen because the big orange man south of the border is going to come in and tell us what we need to do.
Yeah.
He's going to tell us we need to spend more on defense spending. Mm-hmm. He's going to tell us that we need to stop being so protectionist when it comes to our fromage here in Canada. But we're going to need to spend some money. And if we could spend money as an investment into our country, we got a shot at the future.
Right.
The problem is every single time I say this, and I've said it literally since we started doing this podcast, when we gave out all the money for the COVID money.
Right, the COVID money,
like, if we would have spent that money on improving our infrastructure and making us more competitive at enticing money and investment into technology and the future, we could really be on way stronger footing right now. But we're not. We're not. And we need a new regime that is going to affect how competitive we are on the world stage, because the big orange man south of the border is going to come in and he is going to drop taxes and he is going to bring more investment into that country. And it is going to feel like a vacuum sucking out possible investment and definitely GDP growth from our economy if we don't do something about it.
Right.
And to do something about it is most certainly not a $6 billion giveaway.
Right. Definitely. So the thing that I think about sometimes when I see stuff like this, like I kind of picture like Canada and America, like there are like Big Brother who's a lot smarter and, in terms of economics and stuff like that. Why can't we just follow their suit a little bit more, right? Like if we kind of like put the building blocks where they are, wouldn't we come out a little bit better?
Listen, I don't know that it's necessarily follow them.
Right.
I think that
not in everything, that's for sure.
Yeah, like I think that as Canada, you have to rely on the things that make you different,
right?
Of which there are many,
right?
Like if you look at the Canadian dollar,
right?
In 2011, the Canadian dollar was stronger than the U.S. dollar,
right?
At that point in time, it was the opposite of stinking thinking happening,
right?
Okay, it was you were looking at a country that had such a robust future of growth based on its minerals, its natural gas and oil exploration, its service-based economy, that we were competitive with the United States with a dollar that was stronger than the US dollar.
Right.
And I think that if you want to get the country back on a trajectory of growth and optimism, you can't treat it like any other country.
Right.
Because it's not.
Right.
Right? We have huge, vast amounts of natural resources. Okay, this is something that I need you to, I want everyone to kind of think of this right now. Okay? Natural resources are a piggy bank. Okay? Whether it's gold or iron ore or oil and gas, it is a piggy bank because they are finite. And more important than them being finite, the extraction of those resources, of that money from your piggy bank, is costly in its impact for, the environment.
Right.
It erodes kind of a government standing as a kind of socially minded, environmentally minded custodian of a country, right? It's clearly not great to be extracting these things from the earth. But in times of economic desperation, you have a choice. And we need a government who's going to make a choice to take some money out of the piggy bank.
Right.
The critical piece is let's get the money out of the piggy bank as effectively as possible, right? Let's make sure we have pipelines and refineries in our country to export and to extract the most amount of value from the coins that we're taking out of our piggy bank.
Right.
Like when my kids trade with each other, my 6-year-old is at a disadvantage because he may like a shiny toonie in exchange for a $20 bill.
Right.
Like he may say, here's the 20, I'll take the toonie.
Right.
We're giving away 20s for toonies when we don't refine what's coming out of our piggy bank.
Right.
When we let too much of the value of what we're extracting go wasted.
Right.
I think one clear way for us to kind of pivot into something that maybe allows us to be a little more successful is to be more cognizant of what we've got. And the other thing that we've got is we've got a great education system, like that post-secondary education system. But we're not going to be able to retain that talent. We're going to lose all of it. We've been losing all of it for a while.
Right.
But if we could foster innovation here domestically by giving tax credits and incentivizing new technologies and new technology companies from being here, and you do that by reducing capital gains. You don't do it by increasing capital gains.
Right.
And you do that by reducing corporate tax rates. You don't do that by increasing corporate tax rates. There are ways that Canada can become not just like as you say, the little brother who has to follow everything that the States does. There's a way that with our geography, with our natural resources, of which that includes very intelligent people being educated in our post-secondary educational institutions, like we can use those resources to not just be like kind of as good as the States, but to be way better.
Right.
Way better. Grow the population, yes. Grow it intelligently. Foster innovation. Invest in the right parts of infrastructure to get things moving again in the country. But $6 billion to get reelected. Like, this is the worst bet anybody could have ever made. Right? This is like
betting on Tyson.
I mean, I like whatever that like. How I'm trying to think how I could draw an analogy between Tyson and like it was just a rigged fight, right? Like it was just this retarded rigged fight. Anyways,
I bet on Tyson.
You are not smart. Anyways, I don't know if any of this is going to happen. I think that like for sure we need a government change. I hate the idea that some guy just spent $6 billion of our country's money in a last ditch effort to make himself look better.
That then they're never going to get elected again. It's just not possible.
Yeah. I mean, well, that's not going to do it. And he just wasted $6 billion of your money to do it.
Yeah.
So way to go, buddy. Keep it up.
Good work. The ranting was fun. Don't subscribe.
Not if you don't want to. But if you want to, go for it.
Yeah.
Send it to somebody. Forward it to somebody.
Give it to your family.
Remember, we do mortgages at Cannect, by the way. We're good at it.
Very good at it.
We love you. Thank you for watching.